Well, it's only 15 days until Abyss is out, finally. Feels
Don't
like
remind me.
it's been waiting forever.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. How did everything go recording wise? All smooth?
Yeah, it was our second time recording with Jacob Hansen at Hansen Studios in Denmark.
Hmm.
And uh, like we always do, we had everything ready to go before we got there.
Yeah.
All of our parts written and whatnot. So it was just a matter of making sure we got the best track that we could, and we love Jacob. We work really well with him. So yeah, it was great.
Cool. Now, obviously, Abyss follows on from Apex story wise and everything, which is very interesting. It also meant I had to read a lot for this interview, but that's okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, terrible. But no, it's a very interesting story. Obviously, when you follow on from album to album with a lyrical concept, people kind of expect the music to be very much the same. How different would you say Abyss is musically from Apex?
Quite a bit. We definitely we definitely went into this album knowing that we wanted it to be different, not just
Yeah.
because it's a, kind of a different setting, whereas Apex is very terrestrial, um, and a little bit heavier. Abyss is very much a celestial record and quite a bit brighter, and I would say tonally it's a little bit happier as well,
Okay.
despite being played on seven strings this time, which actually gave us a lower register to work with. But we managed to make it a brighter sounding record. And it was just super important to us that we step away from everything that we did before. We took
Mhm.
about 6 months off at the beginning of 2019 and did played no shows and did nothing musically. We didn't even, I mean, we talked to each other, but we didn't even really, we didn't jam or anything, just so that we could really mentally separate ourselves from all the writing that we had done before so that we could come into the record with a completely new outlook. And we had new influences and new bands that we were listening to, and we were all really, well, still are really into synthwave and retro wave and that kind of thing. So we all kind of had this feeling that we wanted our record to be influenced, by that. So we really wanted it to, despite being the second half of the story, we wanted it to be a completely different headspace for the listener.
Hmm. That makes for a much more interesting sequel, if you like, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Hmm. And also, the band sounds very fresh on the new tracks and everything. So it's clearly done you some good to have that time to rejuvenate.
Yeah, I think so. It's like Terminator 2 to the first Terminator, you know?
There you go. Then that's confirmed. This is going to be better than Apex.
Well, I'm not gonna. I mean, we hope. Fingers crossed. So.
Obviously, there's been two music videos made for the album, Abyss and Soulbound. Um, I've rewatched them just before the interview, and it's very interesting. Like you say, the video for Abyss itself does seem to convey what you were saying, and that it's kind of a performance video for the most part, and then it becomes a lot more transcendent, for lack of a better
Mhm.
word. Was that always the plan from the get go?
Oh yes, yeah.
Mm,
We knew we wanted to do something not like a trick, but we wanted to make the fans think that they were just going to be watching another playthrough video or performance video,
yeah,
and something like Awakening was originally the plan, and then have it change and be something completely different.
yeah.
And but thanks to coronavirus, there were no studios open or anything like that. So our plans kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and production had to be cut into a quarter of what it of the original plan. So we ended up just having one day to film, and then our director was like, you know what, just let's come up with something that is that I can do in post. And so that was the idea. We decided, okay, so we'll have this big studio, but then we'll set up a bunch of green screens and have us get slowly sucked into a portal because, we wanted it to have a fun twist. But it was just really difficult to come up with something that wasn't going to require multiple locations and a huge crew and all that kind of stuff. So that was the answer that we came up with, and I thought it was hilarious because it's kind of perfect with the song being called Abyss and all that kind of thing. So that was kind of where it came from. But yeah, we had a really good time.
Good. It's interesting. I actually brought Unleash the Archers up as a reference point in an interview yesterday with an Icelandic band called Cult of Lilith. We were talking about the song this guy wanted to release was about 9 minutes long. And I was thinking, well, Unleash the Archers make it work. But by having this twist in the Abyss concept, that really does just kind of prove that point. And yeah, kind of forgot where I was going with that halfway through, to be honest.
No worries. Yeah, I mean,
it's
with when we put out Awakening, there was a lot of people that were like, "Whoa, I just watched a 7-minute long music video. Like I didn't even notice." Because really, it's really important to us that our music videos are super engaging and that you just can't wait to see what happens. What happens at the end, and we always try and have something for the listener to sort of latch onto, or I guess it would be the viewer in terms of YouTube. Just something that gets them excited and gets them really engaged in the video, as opposed to just having a standing on a stage or that kind of thing. Yeah, it's always been really important to us that we put everything we can into the music videos and that they're all unique and have their own little thing going on.
Yeah, no, it works very well. And speaking of visuals and everything, the album artwork itself is fascinating. Really, it reminds me of old sci-fi book covers like Dune and things like that. This was done by Adam Burke, who's worked with Souls to Fear and some great new wave of British heavy metal bands like Angel Witch and Pagan Altar. How did the collaboration come about with Adam?
Well, Ken Seraphin, who did the artwork for Apex, was not available for this project. So we were kind of like, oh dear, like how do we find something similar but different? Because once again, different album, we wanted it to be a little bit kind of similar in style, but have a different feeling than the Apex cover. So we searched and searched and searched, and finally we found this really cool album cover for Sign of the Swarm. And we were like, yeah, that's what we want. This is the guy. But we couldn't figure out who it was. It's like they didn't credit Adam on anything anywhere. So we were searching, and finally, through I think it was like a Google search, we found the same piece on Adam's Instagram, and then looked through all of his Instagrams, and we were kind of like, oh yeah, this is the guy. So reached out to him, and he's like, oh, I'm super busy, but yeah, I think I can get it done in time. And and we just sent him. I sent him kind of like a description of the scene and what's happening and how it should be emotionally charged, and then some of my kind of inspirational ideas, photos, compositions, that kind of thing, and just let him loose, and he did a killer job, and I absolutely love it. Totally Dune is what it makes me feel like. I love like the whole Dune series, so the second I saw it, I was like, yes, nice, perfect.
It's almost would have been worth waiting until next year when the new film comes out. But, oh well.
Oh, right? Yeah, I don't know how I can hold on to the record that long. Oh, I'm so excited for that movie, though. You have no idea. Timothée Chalamet is such an incredible actor. He's gonna absolutely nail it.
And the work that Denis did, the one that did Blade Runner, the work he did with Blade Runner was fantastic. So if anyone can really make Dune work, I think it's going to be him.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be definitely, hopefully movie theaters are open by then.
Well, if not, hopefully it's streamed or something like that. So.
Yeah, but that's a big screen kind of film,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Nothing, just saying fingers crossed again.
Obviously, promoting the album is a little bit different this time around because you can't really go out and tour. which has always been, I think, a big attraction for Unleash the Archers is the live show.
Definitely.
Yeah. How difficult have you found it to promote the album?
Well, I mean, it's been pretty great. We've
Mm.
had a lot of interviews and that kind of thing, and we're doing lots of fun stuff, live streams, and um, just trying to keep in touch with our fans as much as possible, and Twitch streaming and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Okay.
been it's been different for sure, but it's been a learning curve, and um, I mean there's kind of really no point whining about it, right? We
Yeah.
can't hit the road. There's nothing to be done. So you got to
Yeah.
come up with another way to stay in front of everybody. So, um, we're just kind of trying our best here to embrace the new way of things.
Yeah. I think everybody's kind of in the same boat at the moment. So,
Hmm.
yeah. But one way I saw you promoting the album, which is very different, I've never seen it done before, is that you're having a D&D game
Hmm.
based on the album. I have no idea how to play D&D, but I wanted to look it up for this. Um, Basically, how did this come about? I mean, did you all come up with the concept themselves? Was there always a plan to have that kind of new media?
Well, when we were brainstorming PR ideas
Mm.
with Sonia from Napalm, who's absolutely amazing and super talented and really good at her job,
Yeah.
um, we I told them that I was working on an adventure guide for all of our D&D fans out there because I mean, I'm constantly being messaged and reached out to about details from Apex so that people can do campaigns.
Okay.
And I mean, I didn't even realize that we had so many fans that were also D&D players. And I mean, I'm like, it can't be a coincidence, and there's so many people that say, oh, I listened to your record when we play D&D or whatever, or can you tell me more information about the matriarch? She's going to be my villain in my next campaign, or things like that. And so many of them. So I was like, well, I want to do something for those fans. So I'm in the middle of an adventure guide, which is like kind of like a 1 day thing,
Yeah.
one day game. Normally campaigns are weeks and months long, but this will just be kind of like something you could do with your friends in one weekend.
Mhm.
And so Napalm, Sonia was kind of like, she's a big nerd like I am, and she was just like, no way, why don't we have a contest where when you finish the guide, you can have people that pre-order the record play it with you. And I was just like, yep, that's a great idea, and just kind of took it from there.
Yeah. It's a really cool idea.
Hmm.
Um, there is one show kind of you have coming up, which is tomorrow, in fact,
Yeah.
the European Metal Festival Alliance,
Yep.
which is long enough to say, let alone look up.
I know. I've been saying EMFA, but no one knows what I'm talking about.
I think you're on at 6 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not sure if that's BST or CET,
I
but
think they said CET, but then I'm not sure if they're talking like daylight saving CET or just regular CET. Yeah, there was some confusion there.
all right. Hopefully they sort that out for you before you start playing too early or too late.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
it's up to them when they cast it, basically. So, yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
So how's this going to be? Are you performing all separate at home, or are you in the rehearsal space and performing? Is it a rebroadcast of a previous set?
No, we actually got together last weekend and um, filmed it all in our jam spot together.
Okay.
So we don't have a bass player right now, so it was just Andrew playing bass on a track that we put in our ears along with the click track, and we just kind of rocked out in our jam spot, and it was definitely interesting. All of us had a camera each. So there's four angles or whatever, and then we just kind of like played to the camera, and it was weird, but We have a good time when we play, and that's why we do this, because we love music and we love rocking out and heavy metal. So it was just kind of us being idiots in our jam spot.
Well, it sounds like fun.
I mean, it's much better when there's a a crowd to be an idiot with as well. But yeah, we did our best.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what people think.
I was going to ask you about the bassist situation. I believe Nick Miller was the most recent one you were working with.
Hmm.
So at the moment, obviously, it's kind of hard to hold physical auditions, but are you on the lookout for a new bassist, or is it something that you're kind of not too focused on right now?
Yeah, not really. We don't. It's just in this day and age, you don't really need to have like permanent band members.
Okay.
Um, we have Nick who does all of our tours with us, and he's incredible, and he's a great guy, and we really get along well with him, and he tours really well.
Mhm.
So he's that's what he does. He's a touring musician. He plays in a bunch of other bands and has done lots of tours over the years. So he's seasoned, and we love him. So he's kind of our guy right now,
Mhm.
and that's really kind of all you need. I mean, we had a really good friend of ours record bass for Abyss. His name's Ben R. Scott. He's from our hometown, Victoria, and
Okay.
played in a bunch of bands with us back in the day. So when Andrew suggested him as the guy that plays on the record, we were all like, obviously, because he's extremely talented. Jazz musician, very similar to Nico, who played on Apex.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just we get along so well, the four of us, and we are so kind of familiar with one another and how, the other works,
Yeah.
that there's just no point in throwing a wrench into things. And um, it's just kind of, yeah, I mean, it's really not necessary. We just, when we play, we kind of pass things around digitally anyways, and so it's not like we all five of us have to be in a room together or anything like that, like it's most of the time it's just Scott and I jamming together to guitar scratch tracks and things like that. So it's not really like physically you don't need a bass player there anymore, just with the way technology is. So
Okay.
we're just gonna keep it as it is for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, well, awesome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Good luck with the album.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully all this clears up so I can finally see it for myself.
Yeah, no, it'd be really nice to hit the road, but
Yeah.
who knows? So just
Yeah.
kind of keeping our hopes up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Brittany. All the best.
You two have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.